Welcome to the Frug Life. The company I work at has a fiscal year that ends at June 30th, and year end is always a busy time for an accountant. Lots of hours to get in and a lot of effort to get the financial statements out. And this year, of course, was no exception. I've been working a lot of hours like I do every year end. And I am tired. And my coworker, Jake, shout out to Jake, suggested an episode on retirement. So here we go. Why not? You can't work forever. And at some point, time catches up to you, and working a job, a 9-to-5 job, becomes less of an option. So what do? You retire. And how do you live without making money? Well, let me go back into the past. A long time ago, when dinosaurs roamed the earth, there was something called a defined benefit plan. I'm being a little overdramatic. And you would work, and when you retired, after doing your, I don't know, however many years, you'd get maybe 80% of your salary moving forward. And that potentially was a good deal for you. But this system is mostly gone now. Most people don't have a defined benefit plan. They have a defined contribution plan. An example of this is a 401k. So the contributions to the plan are defined, right? It's laid out what your employer will put into the plan for you, but the results are not defined, right? If you pick good investments, your retirement plan will do well, and if you pick poor investments, your retirement plan will not do well. And that responsibility is on you, not your employer. In the olden times, like I was saying, with a defined benefit plan, or sometimes called a pension, your employer would have to invest funds. Well, really, I guess the pension plan would have to invest funds. And ultimately, if those investments didn't turn out, your employer was still on the hook for coming up with the rest of the money. So there's been a shift of risk from employers to employees. And that can be a little bit scary. After all, you don't want to run out of money in the middle of retirement. So how should you avoid financial ruin? Well, personally, I'm not the best planner. My plan for retirement, my strategy, I guess I should really say, because it's not really a plan, is to just throw lots of money at the problem. 20% of the income from my job goes to my 401k. And in turn, this is invested into a well-diversified portfolio. Now, I think this plan works reasonably well for me because I'm fairly young and my portfolio will have plenty of time to grow. That portfolio mostly consists of stocks and bonds with a little bit of money in REITs as well. But your plan can have more than just equity and debt investments. Depending on your circumstances, you could also explore something like an annuity, which has risk not directly linked to the stock market. Also, you might consider Social Security in your plan, as well as any real estate holdings you have. Now, I'm not an expert on annuities or anything like that, but maybe I'll give a quick summary of what an annuity is. In some ways, an annuity is almost like the opposite of life insurance, right? How life insurance works is you pay premiums, and if you die during the policy, if it's a term life policy, right, you will receive a benefit on your death, so you pay money into it, and at the end, you get money out. An annuity, kind of the flows of cash work the opposite way. You pay money in at the start, and then it pays you every month. A lot of times, the companies that sell annuities are also the companies that are selling life insurance, and because it can be used to hedge their risk, right? The risk with an annuity sometimes is that people live too long and you have to pay them more. Whereas the risk with life insurance is people die too soon and you have to pay them now. Anyways, there's lots more nuance than that. The point is, though, an annuity is a way that you can use cash now to get a stream of cash in the future. So there are a lot of risks when it comes to retirement, right? The biggest one I'd say is that you run out of money. And how might that happen? I mean, one way is that you are invested heavily in the stock market and the stock market goes down quite a bit, right? And in those bad years, you have to sell your stocks to get money to pay for your retirement. Another risk is that inflation goes up And so the money that you are receiving doesn't keep pace with inflation, and your purchasing power whittles away. There's also risks to your health, right? That your health could deteriorate and you might have more medical bills to pay. And kind of going along with that idea of stock risk for before, the sequence of events in your retirement really matters, particularly like the sequence of your returns. If in the first year or so of your retirement, the stock market performs very badly and your portfolio loses quite a bit of value, it may be difficult to recover from that scenario. So to combat all of these different risks, you might have different investments, different parts of your retirement plan. Like for instance, to mitigate the risk of the stock market going down, you could have investments in debt or other alternative investments. To help mitigate the risk of inflation, you could invest in something specifically tied to inflation. Also, Social Security may update to keep pace with inflation as well. For your health risks, there may be insurance products you can buy to help with that. And lastly, for that sequence of return risk I mentioned before, as you get closer to retirement, you might consider investing less in equities and more in asset classes that are less volatile. All right, let's take a quick break and we will be right back.